This spring's mental conditioning program is focused on confidence. That's why this is titled the Confidence Course. We are all probably aware of how our level of confidence affects our day-to-day performances, and I'm sure we all understand that confidence in your sport will help you perform better. We just want to gain a better understanding of this idea, and that's why we will dive into what sport confidence is, why it is important, and how it is generated. Complete Athlete's number one source of sports confidence, which to us is preparation. That's why you see part one preparation right there. Okay. So first we will define sports confidence. Confidence is a feeling or belief that something can be relied on. Sport confidence is an athlete's belief in their ability to perform in their sport. So let's talk about like where you're going to get this confidence from. Sports confidence is important. Research shows that your confidence affects your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors, which directly correlates to your performance in your sport. But I want you guys to write down these questions right now if you can. So the questions are, can you think of a time where you felt confident and how it affected your performance? And what were your thoughts and feelings, or maybe even like your behaviors, like your body language? These points will really be driven home the more that you can write it down or type it, whatever, and relate it to your own experiences. So let's talk about the other part of that, the negative. What about when you didn't feel confident? How did that affect your performance? What were your emotions then? For example, like bad body language, like are you putting your head down on the mountain? Are you walking a guy and getting upset, throwing your glove? Were you starting to doubt yourself in your head and starting to think that maybe you aren't good enough? And how did that negatively affect your performance? And how did your bad performance affect those feelings? Because it goes both ways. So I want you guys again to write down those questions and really think about them while you're writing them down. And I think it's important that you guys answer these in detail in the future. Okay, we're going to move on now. We're going to talk about the source to sport performance pipeline. So today we're kind of focused on the sources of confidence, like where we get it from, where is it generated from. But then there's different types of sports confidence. So first, let's just talk about like what kind of sources of confidence would there be? It'd be like, preparation, like what we're talking about today, self-talk, encouragement from teammates or coaches or what have you. Those would be sources. And there's different types, which we're not going to really dive into today, maybe in the future. But one type of confidence, sports confidence, would be feeling confident about achievement, like winning, things like that. And then obviously the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, the thoughts and emotions that you have create pictures in your head. And those pictures definitely directly affect your performance. And like I was talking about before with your body language also can affect your sports performance. We have studies on this. That's kind of what we're going to get to on the next slide. A study on Olympic athletes in 2007 revealed that the majority of athletes attributed their confidence mainly from their physical and mental preparation. And we'll talk about what that looks like in a second here. I know a lot of you guys know how important Kobe is to me. I draw a lot of inspiration from him. He's very quotable. And one of the quotes that I brought here today on confidence and preparation is as follows. So this is again a quote from Kobe. The confidence comes from preparation. When the game's on the line, I'm not asking myself to do something that I haven't done thousands of times before. If in those moments it looks like I'm ice cold or not nervous, it's because I've done it thousands of times before. So what's one more time? He's basically just showing how he is prepared. Yeah, he's famous for he's known for shooting and making 400 jump shots every single day. And that's what he's referring to in that quote. Why is he so worried to shoot it one more time when he does it thousands and thousands and thousands of times? Sure, some of you guys have heard this from me before, but I'm always running into situations where like my player isn't comfortable with like a new movement I'm trying to teach them. And I have to remind them of that quote that it takes 10,000 hours to master something. So for us as baseball players, That means it takes 10,000 reps to master a movement. So it doesn't even have to be your overall swing. It could just be a certain drill that you struggle with. It's going to take thousands of reps for you getting it done right for that to finally stick and for you to master that. Okay. It's going to take 10,000 swings of a specific drill, 10,000 throws of whatever you're doing, 10,000 balls fielded, whatever it is. These reps matter, they count, and they will have you prepared, which leads to more confidence. I have another quote from another professional athlete in our organization, Matty Rones. All right. I asked him to send me a quote because he is a huge believer in preparation. Okay. This is his quote. If you are struggling with performance anxiety, it is because you know that you are not good enough for that moment. No amount of mental reps or mental conditioning can overcome a lack of practice and practical application of the skill. When in doubt, get more reps. So, Matty, in my opinion, Matty's right, and that's coming from the mental conditioning guy who believes so wholeheartedly in this stuff. None of the mental conditioning we do in the following weeks will matter. They won't pay off if you don't have the proper physical preparation. You can do all the visualization, the meditating, the yoga, whatever it is, the scouting, all that stuff. You can do all that mental preparation. None of it will matter if you don't put in the reps, the physical reps. If you don't get on the tee, if you don't go through the throwing progression, it just will not matter. Well, I like to put my own experiences in here. I talk about when I was a freshman in high school and I got time on varsity to go play right field, and I hadn't played right field since Little League. I was a first baseman, I was a third baseman predominantly, but I wasn't going to say no to play right field for varsity. So I knew I wasn't comfortable with fly balls, and I knew the 10 fly balls that I was going to get in practice weren't going to be enough. So I asked my dad to go outside with me and hit me literally 100 caught fly balls before we were done. And it helped me immensely. I just remember from the first pop-up he hit me, how uncomfortable I was when it went up versus the 100th one he hit me, how much more comfortable I was, how much less uncomfortable I was. Those reps really mattered. It really made me a lot more comfortable there in the game. Just the physical rep of seeing fly balls go in the air, learning how to judge them. Even if I was taking bad routes, I would get better because I would just be more comfortable. And I just touched on it a second ago, but you're gonna ask yourself, what does being prepared feel like or look like to you? Shows up early to the games to get their warm-ups in, their routines in, any throwing, hitting drills that they want before their throwing progression and batting practice. Maybe even going through a scouting report, depending on what level you are at or if you have that available. That's what it looks like to me. That's what being prepared looks like to me. Running through all my routines before practice and games to get into peak performance mode. It's exactly what we're talking about. You know, we don't want to be superstitious, meaning like if we can't get to a routine that we do in practice, we can't get to that before a game. We don't want that to negatively affect us. But if you have a routine that you have gotten used to in the off season or in practice, show up early so you can get through that full routine. And I guarantee you will feel more comfortable. You will feel more prepared. And that's what this is all about, right? So kind of talked about it before, but we're going to again describe the differences between physical preparation and mental preparation. All the stuff that you see on the right is very, very important when you combine it with the stuff on the left. Some people don't need the stuff on the right. Some people are just built different. Some people are just, whatever it is, they're just wired in a way where they don't need as much of the mental reps. Our physical reps would be things like our connection and speed drills. So for those of you who forgot, our connection drills are anything that we do in a slower motion that really help us reinforce our mechanics. We're creating our muscle to mind connection. We're going through, that's like us on the C2 bands, going through your hitting motion, going through your throwing motion, etc., stuff like that. And the speed drills are trying to recreate those movements at a fast pace, right? Our medicine ball throws, PVC pipe swings, stuff like that. The throwing progression, mound blend, all that stuff that we do in training and practice, those are our physical reps, right? I like to call this stuff putting money in the bank. You see that quote in there. Keep putting in $1 at a time. Eventually you will end up with a lot of money at the end, right? So if you consistently put in the work, 1 rep at a time, consistently put money in the bank, you will eventually see a ton of progression. Instead of seeing a lot of money, you're going to see a lot of talent, right? You're going to see your sports performance increase because you're putting money in the bank, right? And again, we are going to get more into the visualization, breath work, meditation, journaling, stuff like that. But it is, again, useless if we do not have the physical preparation. So I know that went pretty quickly, so we are going to summarize this. All right. First, we talked about what is sport confidence. Okay. It's a little bit, it's the same as regular confidence, but it's in that sport, whatever your sport is. For us, it's baseball, obviously. So it's our belief in our ability, our baseball ability, our ability to throw the ball, our ability to hit the ball. Where does it come from? Or we talked about why it's important, how it's generated, where it comes from, the sources. Okay. We talked about the source to sports performance pipeline, meaning the sources, the types of sports confidence, how that affects your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and how that directly correlates to your sports performance. Talked about our number one source of sport confidence here at CA, which is preparation. We described the difference between physical and mental preparation. I want you guys to write down that quote of money in the bank, putting money in the bank. I think that's a good quote to have. And then we had some coach and player testimonials, mainly Kobe Bryant and Coach Matty Rones. And then I talked about a few of my experiences. The main takeaway I want you guys to remember from my experiences with that is the fly ball situation. And I really think that fly ball situation works for every single one of you. I see the difference between the first pop-up and the 20th pop-up for all of you guys. Every single one of you looks so much more comfortable on that 20th fly ball that you are tracking than the first. But the idea of you getting more comfortable with those fly balls, you can use that for everything. Okay, whatever you don't feel comfortable with and you're not getting enough reps in at our training sessions, you have to find time on your own to get those reps in. And you have to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and knowing that if you just continue to do this, if you consistently put money in the bank, right, you will feel a lot more comfortable at the end. And I think too many of us care too much, a little bit too much when it's a little bit too late. Okay. We don't want you to not put the work in and then get really, really upset when things don't go your way in game. Sometimes when you guys are doing these reps in practice, it's like not every single rep matters, and every single rep matters. The ones that are not, fully focused reps are just wasted reps, and that's just wasting time for you to get, physically prepared, which we talked about it all night tonight. That's what's going to help you with your confidence, and that's what's going to help you with your sports performance. So that is going to end what I have for you guys today. Like each week here, we're going to really try and bring an experience or two from me, from Coach Gabe, from Maddie, from whoever it is, Evan Shaw. We're going to try and feed you guys our experiences because we want you guys to learn from our experiences. There's a reason why we're in the position that we are, and we're all here to help you. Or if you guys see us in person and you have a question, we absolutely want you guys to ask us it. We are only here to help you.
And thanks for the presentation, Coach Mason.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for attending, guys.